entire day, where do we get that time to meditate? Meditation is not just sitting and meditating, but it's an awareness that you're holding. But you stay in that awareness when you have the practice of actually sitting and doing it. Because during the day, I must make time, no matter how busy I am. I must take time, like early in the mornings or in the evenings, to sit for at least half an hour. Half an hour to just put everything aside, whatever is my work, whatever I'm doing, just put everything aside and just sit down for a few minutes. Because we give time so much to our physical body, and we do pay attention to our physical body, right? If something is going on with the physical body, we address it. But something is going on emotionally, we don't address it that immediately, right? Something, we have a cut or something, what happens? Immediately you want to put a band-aid, or you want to, heal it quickly. Not only that, even physically, we groom ourselves to be neat and clean. But what about the emotional part of ours? We don't teach, right? If somebody is feeling, depressed or down or stressed out, we just don't say, it's okay, it'll go away. Right? We say, it's okay, it'll go away. But the same thing you don't say with your physical body, right? If something happens, you immediately say, no, put some band-aid, put some, antiseptic cream or something like that. But why is that we don't address what's going on emotionally, mentally? It's equally important to address it. Either I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling rejected, or I'm feeling whatever. And then because of those, all the flow of thoughts that we will have. So too much thinking is also one kind of disease. But we think it's okay, it's part of life. What is there? Sit and think. Right? So there has been a lot of research done by the psychologists in the world, how we tend to get attracted or inclined towards negativity more than positivity. It's like one of the things that make us think too much is also failures. Right? When we experience any kind of failures, that sits in our mind for a longer period of time. So this is what the research says, that like we lose our confidence, we lose our faith, we lose our trust. And so immediately we tend to feel that everything is negative, everything, and we feel like, I'm not sure if I'm going to pass or if I'm going to actually gain anything. So there was many research done on this, like where somebody experienced a group of people, right? They were said that, this person is in position. And so because of this person being in a position, there is like 60% of, their employment rate has increased. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, another group of people where they were said that, 60% have lost, only 40% have lost. It's like on one hand, they were given a positive result. On the other hand, people were given a negative result that, 40% have lost. And so the second group of people, though the next time they were said that 60% people have, saved their jobs or they have got their employment, they still didn't feel happy about it. Mm-hmm. Because the first result, what they've experienced was, something negative, that losing. So that's why they always say, always think about the glass half filled, not half empty. But mostly we tend to look at the half empty, right? If somebody gives us half a cup of water, half a glass of water, we'll say, why only half? But at least I got half, So we immediately think, why only half? I want full, or, we look at the half empty, cup. So these days, it's like the psychology or, the mentality of people, individuals, is more going towards the pessimistic side or the negative side. And when those things happen, that we're somewhere losing faith, even something good happens, somewhere we don't feel like we don't feel like trusting. It's like, oh, maybe we'll fall back into something negative that's going to happen. Like a few years ago also, somebody was saying, Sister Madhvi, at the moment I say, oh, everything is going well and I feel happy, like immediately, something is happening, and now I don't feel like trusting or even feel happy when something good is happening. So like that, somewhere, these little things that happen in our life, then, we tend to think about, we tend to think about these things and feel that maybe these are the failures, or whatever is happening is going to repeat again and again. So whenever there is a failure, or things like that happen, which will always happen, or it can happen anytime, it's not that we will always win. It's not that always there'll be pleasant scenarios in our life. We all will experience situations. We'll all will experience unpleasant moments. We all experience, tough people in our life. Anybody here, without any waves, you're nicely sailing, which if you're sailing, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. But we'll always have something or the other. But whenever these situations or scenarios are coming into our life, if we just tend to move into that negativity, or we move into that, thinking of waste, then we are at more harm. Already we are facing something, we are experiencing something, and we just tend to go into that sort of emotional baggage. And when we start to think too much about it, we're just becoming weaker and weaker. So these waste thoughts, like today's topic, as it's cutting down on this waste, right? These waste thoughts just make us just weak, because that's why they say, like, whatever you think, so you are. You think this is what I am, I become that. And it is absolutely true, because whatever I'm thinking, I'm programming myself. So our thoughts create our stage, our inner stage. If I hold on to these failures that I'm experiencing, or something that has happened, if I'm holding on to that and thinking over and over, I'm just making myself weaker and weaker inside. Becoming weak means, like, I'm just experiencing more and more weak thoughts, are bringing more and more negative emotions. I'm becoming more jealousy about something, or I'm becoming more insecure about something. I'm becoming more like negative reactions, like anger and frustration. So I am actually increasing the negative emotions inside, thinking too much of waste, right? On the other hand, when I'm transforming quickly, when I'm switching my thoughts to elevated thoughts, positive thoughts, then it's creating that kind of platform inside, that is stage inside, and it's helping me to actually cope with the situation. Like somebody was sharing when his brother was diagnosed with cancer, and he didn't complain much, and he was just dealing with with that with whatever his body was going through. But he was saying that his brother was more calm and collective, but he was emotionally completely feeling devastated, that, oh, my brother is experiencing this, and he psychologically, emotionally, he was going down. But his brother, who was actually experiencing the problem, he kept himself more calm, and he came out of through treatment and keeping himself more positive, he came out of it. But then he said, his brother was saying that when I saw my brothers going through this, emotionally I was becoming down. But then at some point I thought, no, I should give him support. And so every time he thought about his brother, he kept switching his thought to positivity. No, it'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll come out of this. I shouldn't be getting trapped into, this experience, emotionally being, experiencing this down. And so every time he switched himself to some sort of elevated thought, some sort of positive thought, some sort of pure thought about his brother. And he said in a week, he was able to come out of those, thoughts. And he felt more and more positive to his brother, that he's going to heal. So why are we all discussing these things now is because to understand that these positive thoughts, these elevated thoughts have a lot of power, and it can change. It can change things. It can change scenarios. Like yesterday also, like Sangeeta and me were discussing that, when she felt like, oh, it'll take a long time for me to reach home. And she thought, no, let me just think a positive thought. It's not going to take for me a long time to reach home. I will just get my train and my bus very quickly. I'll reach home quickly. And exactly that's what happened. She said immediately 2-3 buses came, and then this huge long line, people all got divided into different buses. And she said she reached home quicker. So many a times we tend to just start thinking negative, this is happening or this is happening, it's going to happen. So it'll start happening like that, right? And these waste thoughts they're like super fast. When waste thoughts begin, they just go very fast. And when you're driving something very fast or something is going very fast, it's hard to control, right? And that's what happens in the mind. When I'm thinking too much waste, then it becomes uncontrollable, that I cannot catch them. I cannot actually control. And the interesting thing is, I will not become aware. I will actually not even realize that I'm thinking waste. I become so like, it becomes obvious in my mind to always think negative waste, and I'm not even realizing that I'm thinking. I'm not even aware, which is making my stage completely go down. So it's important that we experiment with these positive, pure, powerful thoughts. These powerful thoughts are absolutely necessary to boost our immunity, right? It's not that when a situation comes, I'm trying to think positive. Oh, I tried so much to think positive. You don't have to try so much. If you're trying too much, you're laboring too much, you're working hard on it, that means you're lacking practice. And the importance of the positive thoughts or the powerful thoughts. So understanding the importance and also practicing daily, no matter what small situation, just, in a day, a few times, just check, oh, what is my thinking like? What am I thinking? Immediately switch it, immediately transform it. I shouldn't be going into this roller coaster of thoughts. So I have to keep bringing myself back to again and again, just positive, powerful, it'll be okay. So there is difference when I'm thinking positive, powerful, elevated. So positive thoughts, we all know, okay, it'll happen, it'll be okay, it'll be good. All of these are positive thoughts. But reach to those powerful thoughts, elevated thoughts. Elevated, shoot to the highest. Elevated thoughts are like, creating powerful thoughts for your own self. Rather than saying, I'm not sure how am I going to do this, or, I don't have the power, immediately switch to that thought, I have the power. I am a powerful soul and I can do it. Even psychologists actually say the way you sit, your body language talks about your mind. The way you sit, it shows what you're thinking internally. They say if you're sitting like this, or if you're sitting, when you're sitting like this, it shows like your body language shows either your confidence, or you're timid, or you're shy, you're nervous, or you're in a very good intoxication. You're sitting with absolute confidence. So your body language, so just think about it. Your body language talks about your mind. So it's like, what's going on in my mind? Just think, if I'm switching, I'm going right to that thought, and I'm creating an absolute powerful thought, an absolute elevated thought about myself. Everything switches when just experimenting. Psychologists they have experimented. Just sit nicely, like confidently. Immediately, your mind will start to switch. And that's just physical aspect. When you just think about, create a powerful thought, an elevated thought, what will happen to your mind? Everything transforms. Whatever flood of waste thoughts that are going on, it'll transform. I can switch that. I don't have to work hard, but I just need to, keep checking. I have to become my own checker. Bless you. I have to just keep checking what's going on, right? And so when I do that, I catch my fast going thoughts and I slow down, slow down. So there are three things that I need to pay attention to have elevated thoughts. One is to look to go into solitude. The first thing is, during the day, a few times experience this solitude. Not just physical solitude. Okay, I don't want to be amongst everyone. I want that space, which is okay. If you can get that space, it's wonderful. But, during the day, we are, at work or at school, or we're doing various things, but just creating that mental solitude, that spiritual solitude for yourself, just becoming quiet and alone for a few minutes. That solitude is important, because when you do that, you're getting in touch with your own soul, with your own self. And then you're able to watch what's going on in your mind. In solitude, you're able to actually see your mind very clearly, right? So in Hindi, it's a very beautiful word. It's called ekantvasi. Like, you're becoming ek, meaning you're just becoming one with your own self. You're looking at your thoughts. So when you do that, what is happening? You're able to economize your thoughts. This flood of thoughts, you're bringing it back. You're bringing them down. Again, economy, ache, like you're bringing your thoughts to just one. You're bringing your thoughts to essence, right? Solitude, ekantvasi, then economize. You're bringing your thoughts down, like no wastage. When you waste too many thoughts, when you think too much, what is happening? You're just becoming too confused. You're too confused. How can I think too much and then come to a decision? I cannot. Only when I'm in silence, I'm able to actually make a decision. Not when I'm thinking too much, I cannot. So there is too much of confusion. And why there is too much of confusion, too many thoughts? I'm not trusting the moment. I'm not trusting that everything will be okay. It's just, the dictates of my mind. I want to control the moment. It has to be like this. I want to control it. But I cannot. All I can control is my mind, my thoughts, not externally what's going on, right? And so when I want to control something, I'm not trusting it. And when I'm not trusting it, then I'm too confused. And that's why the third aspect is needed. And that is eknami, meaning you have to trust the one who is up above. Right? Trust in the drama, trust in the time, trust in yourself. It will be okay. But if I'm just thinking too much, will I have a result, quicker result? No. And with that confusion, I'll go and ask 10 people what to do. And then I'll get more confused, because 10 people will give me 10 advice, 10 opinions. Then I'll be more confused, left with don't know what to do. So all of this is because I'm overthinking. Overthinking is making me confused, and that confusion is not giving me result. Rather than all of this, I switch to my solitude. I go into my silence. I condense my thoughts. I economize my thoughts. And when I economize my thoughts, I'm able to actually see the solution much better. I'm having the trust that everything will be okay. Everything will go according to the universal law, according to what it's supposed to be. Of course, I'm not becoming passive and sitting and just thinking it'll all be okay, but trusting all okay. And then I'll take the steps what are needed. And then definitely I will, get the result. Because sometimes, many a times in our lives, we don't know, like, sometimes we are at that junction, like, this way or that way, but that's the moment I need to just trust God, trust myself. I will go on the right way. But just overthinking is not helping me. If I just sit there and overthink, whole day I'm sitting at the junction and thinking, which way should I go? This way or that way? So trust is very, very important. It'll be okay. Sometimes you have to surrender. You have to surrender it to the eternity. And then the right thing will emerge. Right thing will emerge. So in this way, I'm able to cut down on my waste. Cutting down on this waste is important, right? Cleaning up this waste is important. What happens to your home? You're just accumulating waste. After some time, your room is like a garbage bin, right? So externally also, we pay attention to cleanliness. What about here? Why is that I'm accumulating so much of waste? It just feels such burden. And then when there is waste, what happens? It'll become a place for all the bugs and insects. That's what is happening here as well in the soul, right? More and more negativity starts to sprout. It's not pleasant at all. And so more waste is making me diseased inside. So it can start with something very minor, but that minor starts to become major. If I don't address something is happening to my body, something minor, if I don't address that, what happens? One day I'm seeing it something major in the body, right? But anything minor, we are addressing it. In the same way, I have to do with the soul, with our mind as well. Any emotional baggage, it's not good for health. My immunity completely goes down. Immunity going down means I'm becoming very sensitive, weak-hearted, right? So it's like upset mind always. Little things can upset me. Little, very little things can upset me. And stress is right there. For everything, there is a reaction. And then I will not experience the pleasure of this life. Waste thoughts will not allow me to experience the pleasure of this life, though I may be having everything. But I'm just feeling very empty inside. Because the more the waste, the more I'm empty. The more the elevated thoughts, the more full I am. And even one elevated thought can actually shift everything. So think about yourself high. Think about yourself, you're full. Look at your life in an optimistic way. I have it, I can do this. I know it, right? But no, not in an egoistic way, but, elevated thoughts. Because nobody will, okay, people may come to you and say, you're doing very well. No, do this way, or you're very good. At that moment, we may feel, yes, I'm good. But if I don't create for my own self, then what happens? After they're gone, again, I'll feel down. Then I'll create a habit of dependency on them for emotional support. They should be there to praise me. And then when they're not there, I'm so down. It's like dependency, right? And if the same person, if they correct me, if the same person, if they say you're not doing this good, or if the same person at some point being frustrated, they say something, what happens? I become depressed because I'm dependent for some sort of emotional support, some sort of praise for them, some sort of, then I'm so becoming down, and I become so depressed. And then I will start having all, thoughts of anger towards them, thoughts of hatred. And then I'll feel I don't have anyone. I feel lonely. I have to grind my own ingredients. People may say, you're wonderful, you're this and that, which is good. But then create your own elevated thoughts for yourself. Write down every day one nice, good thing about yourself. Like the psychologists, they say that, when, they have created this whole thing about writing, giving gratitude, right? It's a big thing in the world today. Like, be thankful. So, Baba, what about yourself? I'm thanking this one, that one, this one. What about those elevated thoughts for yourself? It's like an absolute powerful dose. These days people have that, what do you call, like instant booster. Elevated thoughts are like instant booster to the soul. It boosts your energy internally. It boosts your, your power. So I don't depend on others to boost me. Let me boost with my own elevated thoughts. And that'll help the soul a lot, a lot. So cut down on this waste. Keep checking yourself again and again. So because we all experience different things in life. So one of the things also is waste comes from a lot of like doubts. When we doubt too much, maybe this is happening. It's like assumptions, no? I'll sit here and then I'll just assume something is happening, but maybe nothing is happening there. Sometimes how the news reporters and all, oh, this is happening, that is happening. And somewhere someone is sitting in another country and they get fearful. And they're calling, are you okay? Are you okay? We're hearing these things in the news. So doubts and assumptions are like that. There's nothing much happening, but I just assume this, like, it's a big devil in front of me, like a huge mountain, but it's actually a little thing, just little. But then overthinking has made it so big. All I have to do is just switch to these elevated, powerful thoughts. Right? Because when I see myself elevated, then everything is small. But when I see everything is big, I become so small. Weak and empty. So you see yourself, I am a powerful soul. I am a wonderful soul. I am a special soul. I have this quality in me. I can think right. And whose child I am? I am, God's child. I am the child of Almighty Authority. I am the child of, the one who creates everyone's fortune. Or I am the child of, the ocean of peace, the one who has unlimited treasures. Any such thoughts, right? Put yourself on a high pedestal. And that shifts your thoughts. And I have to do this every single day for myself. Right? And so as I'm talking about doubts, assumptions, you sit here and you're thinking, oh, maybe something, all that is just waste. And then another thing is loneliness. These days in the world, people experience a lot of loneliness. And the moment you experience that, don't just sit and think about it, I'm lonely. Just get up and just start. No, I'm not lonely. Start doing something. Mingle with the right people, listen to the right things, do something that, helps you come out of it. So address it quickly rather than sitting and thinking, I'm all alone and this and that. No, don't allow that at all. Don't allow that. Because loneliness can become like a big disease. Mentally, it'll shut down the thinking capacity, it'll shut down and it'll take us into so many physical illnesses. And then the other thing, as I said, like actually, feeling lonely, it's like they say even your blood pressure can increase, which can create a lot more other things. So address it quickly, just come out, create elevated thoughts, don't sit there. And then failures. We all fail in our life one time or the other. It's not that always I'm at my best. No, it's okay. Sometimes what happens, okay, if I failed and nobody watched, I'm still okay. But where we feel more guilt and overthink is when others see my failure, that we cannot take. Right? Many times that's what happened. Oh, I became failure in front of people. It's okay. They also fail. Everyone fails at some point. Right? When it's like, when I don't want to feel that I failed in front of people. No. It's like sometimes, people feel like I don't want, because if I don't know this, what will people think? Oh, I need to know. It's okay. When I fail, I learn. Okay, I failed, but I don't have to sit and repent days and days and years about it. If I sit and repent about it, what good I did to myself? I didn't do any good to myself, right? So sometimes the guilt conscious, I failed, or, I did a mistake, and I sit with that guilt, and then I'm losing my time, my energy, my thoughts, everything. What for? Repentance is good. Okay, repent, meaning realize, okay, I've done this. Where did I go wrong? Okay, I failed. Okay, where did I go wrong? How can I rectify this? How can I do better? That's where my thoughts should go. Not, oh, you see, it's an insult. I failed. What will people think? Oh, look, I did this. I shouldn't have done, but I just sit there and repent, and I've done nothing good to me. So it becomes like a habit for some. They keep repeating the same things, but they're not changing. They're not doing anything for change. So that's not good, right? So repent. Okay, feel, it's good. Realize about it, but very quick, come out of it. Just one thought. Okay, these are the things I want to do better so that I don't repeat that. And then just don't sit with that same thing going on for hours and days and years and nothing is happening. And then the other thing that people overreact, think is rejection. If someone rejected me, someone said, you're not good enough. That's all. Go into so much of waste. We put ourselves so down. In the world, anyone can come in front of you. They can praise you. They can reject you. They can accept you. They can reject you. But my self-esteem should not depend on their praise or regard or their acceptance or rejection. No. Then I'm just subservient. Then I'm just becoming puppet. When somebody accepted, I'm like, when somebody rejected, I'm like, no. So rejections, people feel very, very, they just take themselves, they lose everything. Rejection. Don't allow any thoughts of rejection to affect you. Meaning, I'm not just saying from headspace, but for that, if I'm not allowing myself to get affected by rejection, means I'm actually working on my elevated thoughts, on my powerful thoughts, right? It doesn't matter if someone says you can do it, you can't do it. They put labels, but I know I have already created a stage for myself that I will not go down that stage, no matter what's happening. So work on these elevated, powerful thoughts. It definitely changes things. When waste thoughts can harm us, when negative thoughts can make us completely diseased, what can elevated thoughts, powerful thoughts can do? A lot, but we are not paying attention to those thoughts. Pay attention to those thoughts. A lot of world and life can show a lot of things, to us, lots of ups and downs, but working on myself, giving some time, meditating, going inwards, creating powerful thoughts, elevated thoughts is absolutely essential. Absolutely essential. So practice this entire week. Make some notes for yourself, journal in the night. How much did I create elevated thoughts about myself today? How many powerful thoughts? Did I think powerful or did I think weak? Every day for 1 week, as that man said, he just thought for 1 week, just positive thoughts he had about his brother's health. And then he came out of his emotional, down. So for 1 week, just elevated thoughts, just powerful thoughts, and keep checking yourself, make some notes for yourself, journal, and see it makes a difference, a huge difference. And when I am in that, elevated form or elevated thought, I spread that to others, right? I help others with my elevated thoughts. I don't have to show anyone I'm big, I'm huge, I'm this and that. No, just have elevated thoughts. It's like spiritual maturity, and others can actually sense that, feel that. The other day I was telling someone, it's like, there was some relationship issue going on between husband and wife, and they have this tug of war impressing their kids. The father wants the kid should be with me, the mother wants the kid should be. So they're, trying to impress the kids with, taking them here, giving them money, this, that. So many things like that we do. But that's not what it is. You stay in your spiritual maturity, giving regard for yourself, then naturally your kids will tend to understand that you don't have to impress you. This is all like not good. You're just trying to impress your kids on a physical level, but you just do what is internally needed, spiritually needed. And you can influence anyone around you in a very positive way. In a very positive way. Right? It happens in, I've seen like, people come and they say, when especially they're experiencing a divorce or things like that, the kids have to be my side. They have to listen to me. Or, the other one is trying to, distract the kids, or the parents are fighting. But you don't have to do all of that. Just internally have that spiritual maturity. Right? So elevated thoughts. Focus on elevated thoughts and they'll help you a lot. So shall we all do it for 1 week, completely focusing on these elevated, powerful thoughts? And they will do a magic. Om Shanti. Anybody, any thoughts before we switch to meditation? A few minutes of meditation we can do, but before that, anybody wants to share anything? Any comments you have? You all are contentful. Good.
This afternoon, Sister Madhu.
Sister Madhu?
I'm running an errand. In my building, this is one amputated person who's on a wheelchair.
Can you talk a little louder? They can hear.
He was in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was with an aide. And so I just saw him and I greeted him. And I said, because he had a folding chair. So I just wanted to make a conversation with him. And he says, I said, you must have had a nice picnic today, like that. And I said to him, I'll hold the door for you. And you enter, because your aide has things in her hand. But looking at him, he said, no, you go ahead first. And then I'll go, because his chair was quite wide, So I said, no, I'm not too big. You can fit in there. But what I observed is that it's not only that that he had, just because I'm a girl, that doesn't mean that he should, but he had that thought in him. And my thought was that even in that situation that he was, and we as myself as a person, sometimes complain to my own self, oh, I don't feel like doing this because this is how I feel. But looking at him, my thought process changed.
Mm.
I said that I thought to myself, sometimes it's just something so small and we still complain,
Right.
And this person who is in his wheelchair that he can't move, he can't walk, has this spirit in him. And I'm telling you, instantly, my thought changed to not to complain to oneself. I wasn't complaining to somebody else, but I was thinking to myself.
Yeah, you had that moment of realization.
Exactly. There's a moment of realization that this gentleman is still so polite to tell me that you go first into the elevator before he can get into it, and in this condition that he's in.
I'm not sure if you all heard Rupa sharing. She's sharing that this afternoon she encountered this in her building, this man who was on a wheelchair and who can't walk at all. And when the lift door opened, she was, asking, she was with the, she was like allowing him to enter the lift before her, and she just, said a few nice words, but then he actually stopped and he wanted her to enter. And then he just had such a positive vibe that instantly Rupa felt that, look at him, he can't walk and he's in the wheelchair and he looks so pleasant. He has such a positive vibe and, he's not complaining. And she just felt at that moment, for little things, we complain a lot in life. This is like this is like that, and this man here, he's physically challenged, and yet he had such good vibe. And so that moment she was influenced in a positive way looking at this man. And that's so true. That's so true in our lives. For little things we complain, and but then there are bigger scenarios. Yes, people are experiencing such things, and when we really look at them, like, what are our problems? Nothing. Yeah. And then we sit there, and then for nothing we keep crying and complaining. And that is true. That is true. Also, like, there are harsh things happen, like sometimes with people, like very harsh things. Yeah. But for little things we complain. Like, I remember 2 years ago, he's actually just a 17-year-old boy, a 17-year-old teenager. And the family went to a vacation place, and nice on, some ocean beach place. And the 17-year-old and his friend, both of them, went out in the night to just walk, and it's not even a heavy traffic place or nothing. And the parents were, at home sleeping, like maybe at 11:30, both boys are just walking on the road. And then from nowhere, this car just came and hit the boy. And on the spot, he was gone, 17-year-old. And the parents, it was such a hard, experience for them. I mean, they're on a vacation and look what they've experienced. And, it was very, very tough for them. And like, meaning why I'm sharing this is, like, sometimes things just happen from nowhere. And, and people who are in the war, just think about the war that's taking place, in Ukraine. What are the conditions of the people there? They're living in fear. They don't know when a bomb is going to hit their building or whatever, like, and sometimes people are just locked in rooms and whatnot. And here, when we have everything, also we still complain and cry and, feel sad and confused, this, that, about little things. This one that said this, that one said this. When real things happen, what? Yeah. Okay. So let's sit in just about 3 to 4 minutes of meditation, few minutes. For a few moments, just allow yourself to relax. Just create a very powerful thought. I'm a very fortunate soul. I have everything. Very fortunate. Fortune is like my shadow, following me everywhere. There is no question of misfortune. All is well. Then why any waste thoughts? No waste thoughts. Internally, I'm so light because I've surrendered everything to the eternity, to God. Everything was good, and everything is good, and everything will always be good. No waste thoughts about anything. I just allow myself to become silent and feel these thoughts. Experience my own fortune. And continue to have only elevated thoughts. No other thoughts. Om Shanti.